Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of The New World. In today's video, following the end of All-Star Weekend, after Adam Silver gave us a much better product regarding the All-Star Game, as this was probably the best All-Star Game since 2020. Although we had some stinkers to start the weekend, mainly the dunk contest, the new implementation of the World vs. USA format did not disappoint. With the first two games coming down to the wire, we sadly did not get to see the younger American-born players get to play against the world team. But overall, this was a great way to end off All-Star Weekend. So, without further ado, it's time to talk about All-Star Weekend and give our thoughts on the All-Star Game. But before we get to the video, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you haven't, turn on those notifications to stay tuned for more content, and comment if you enjoyed the All-Star Game this year. Now, fellas, what were your thoughts on this year's All-Star Weekend and All-Star Game? And where do you rank this year's game amongst the others in this decade?
I'm going to give a ton of credit to the players this year. I think that they definitely put on a great performance, put on a great display for the fans. I will say that my biggest problem with the All-Star Game current format is the multitude of games. I think it just it messes up the presentation a little bit. This whole, we got one quarter a game and then we got multiple games kind of in a semi-tournament style. I know that that's Adam Silver's go-to mantra, is to have these damn tournaments. So this is just a part of the era. But I definitely will say those first three games were very, very competitive. I think that the USA Stripes, or as a lot of people are calling them, the old heads, they played 3 games in a row from game 2 to the tournament game. And I think that they kind of just ran out of steam and ran out of gas. And that was the reason why we got that route, which once again is why I think that the whole multiple game style kind of is a little probably not the best way to go about it in the future, in my opinion. That is, if you're going to continue with this whole having the old heads against the young people. I think that what the NBA was trying to do was they were trying to bring some of the competition out of these players by doing World versus USA, young versus old. But in my opinion, I think that it's still not the best way and methodology to go about the All-Star Game, in my opinion. It has a lot of holes. It has a lot of potential things that could come back to bite the league in the butt, from the standpoint of, yes, it works when you change the format this first time. But, I mean, if we just go back to how the All-Star Game used to be, the origins of it, East versus West, people have pride about that because we got the Eastern Conference. We feel like we're better than the Western Conference. We match up in the finals. So it starts off being competitive, but then every time they change the format, we see that the next time they roll it out, we see less competition. So my biggest thing is this the best way to go about the format moving forward? We did see guys like Wemby that definitely took things personal about losing. I will say this. One of the things that I was hearing a lot about the All-Star Game was attributing the lack of effort to the old heads or to the American-born players. I think that this All-Star Game should definitely close the lid on that, from the standpoint of Kevin Durant. He really exposed a lot of the BS takes that were going on, a lot of takes about the European players and them playing hard, international guys playing hard. We didn't really see a whole lot of Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic today. They didn't really do shit. And I think that we've seen in prior All-Star games, their lack of effort is honestly the most glaring and most disrespectful to the integrity of the game and to this competition. So I think that other than that, we've had a really good product this go around. But I'm very, very intrigued to see if that's going to be a continuation going on into the next season. Hopefully it is. Hopefully it is, man, because like I said, this league needs a lot of help and a lot of support, from the standpoint of the NBA has been in this mode for a long time, which is we don't really pay attention to them until after we get done with the NFL season. There are more NFL fans that are coming out there, and they're not watching basketball until the NFL season wraps up in early February, and we get ready for the big event, which is the All-Star Game. So this is essentially you putting on display the product of the league, and it's a representation of the league. So the NBA cannot afford to put in a half-assed All-Star weekend, because this is, for a lot of people, their first time even turning on the NBA. So if my first time turning on the NBA is seeing some bullshit, niggas not really caring, and lackadaisical half-assed effort, then people are not going to be intrigued in the regular season. Now, I will say this. I think that there's a multifaceted question that we're going to have after this video, which talks about kind of the current status of the NBA. And I do think that this whole we don't really care about the regular season because our postseason is always great. In my opinion, the only reason why they're having this attitude is due to the multi-billion-dollar media rights deal that they have, of pocketing that bread, because the NBA is making a ton of money, making a whole lot of cash, a whole lot of dough. So a lot of the quote-unquote problems that are out there, they don't really want to pay too much attention to it. But I don't want to harp too much on the negative. Like I said, I think that this was a really good display of basketball. I haven't seen competition like this in a very, very long time, so I was pleasantly surprised and engaged with the games. Now, I will say this. I'm only talking about what was on display Sunday. That bullshit that was on display Saturday was awful. Awful, awful, awful. And I think that the dunk contest, bro, we gotta just remove that, man. We gotta remove that because, for one, it was different when we had bums in the dunk contest, or like guys that were not all-stars, like guys that were not as prominent. It was different when we had them in, but we were still getting some great dunks. Now we're not getting any great dunks. Like I told the fellas, basically the dunk contest, they should have changed the name to the in-game dunk contest, because these were all dunks that like I've seen niggas do in regular season games or even in postseason games. Like Jackson Hayes, bro, that first dunk that he did, that was a disgrace to the game. That was a disgrace to the slam dunk contest for him to go in. And it wasn't even like I was showing it to my pops, because he didn't watch the dunks in real time, so I showed it to him. And I had to explain something to him. I said, also, pops, because when they show you the highlights of the dunks, they're not showing you all of the misses. Because a lot of these niggas, they were missing multiple dunks. And I said, Pop, you can tell they're missing the dunks because they get a minute and 30 seconds to dunk. So when I see guys that are, making the dunk in 20 seconds, you probably had like 8-10 misses. You feel what I'm saying? So guys out here missing. Jackson Hayes doing that just one hand. Like Jackson Hayes, you do that dunk in your sleep in the regular season, sir. He didn't even take off from the free throw line. And then also a lot of these guys, no elevation. Like I'm seeing guys that are like 6'6", 6'7". If your head is not at the rim and you're doing a basic dunk, I can't respect it. Like, so there's so many different components that go into the dunk contest. It's not appealing, and that honestly could be a video, a topic for a whole nother day. But I really just wanted to focus on the positives, which is what we saw today, Sunday night. It was a good product on display. I hope that we can continue to get this level of effort. Like I saw a lot of defense being played. Also, there's some players that I really, really, really want to call out. But like I said, I'm just going to keep it positive because, in my opinion, you got niggas out there like Donovan Mitchell, Luka Doncic, Jamal Murray. They were kind of horrid today. But once again, we're not going to focus on that. Shout out to Anthony Edwards winning MVP. Very well deserving. He was clutch. He put up a lot of clutch buckets. Anthony Edwards, dog. I love what I saw, but can we get you in the dunk contest? We need somebody to save the dunk contest, man. Anthony Edwards, you're supposed to be the next face of the league, the next Jordan Kobe. Fuck the LeBron shit. Fuck LeBron not wanting to put his name. Dude, be a boss, be a dog. Put your name in that slam dunk contest and save it, man. That shit will feed families. I'm tired of seeing bums. Tired of seeing bums, man.
And man, and said he don't got no creativity with his dunks. He said it's just number power. He said if it was a dunk contest of like dunking on people, he said he'd be in it. But he's like, man, I don't got no creativity.
Anthony Edwards, sir, at this point, I'll take that. Just put somebody underneath the basket and just tell them to jump up and yam on them. I would take that over the shit that I'm seeing. Shit that I'm seeing has not been good. All in all, shout out to Adam, man, for putting this together. It's going to be very, very interesting to see what they do next year because I don't know if this gimmick is going to work again, but it did work this year. So I'm very, very happy and grateful for that.
So I want to first start off by saying I actually enjoyed the All-Star game festivities today. As the time of this recording, we're recording this a few hours after the actual All-Star game. And it was a pretty good performance that the NBA players showed up. The last couple of years, we pretty much been dogging the product. These guys don't care. And I have to give a lot of respect to guys like Victor Wembanyama and Kay Cunningham, Jalen Duren. These guys kind of playing hard because we all know the older guys, they ain't got it no more. Like they kind of using this time as vacation. And I can understand that because, the season's 82 games, but it's kind of an advertisement for the fans. Like even the people who don't watch basketball, as Bart already alluded to, guys who just strictly just watch football are coming in after the Super Bowl to watch basketball. So it's like a big deal, and players, they really just look at it as vacation time. I thought the games were pretty good, as Bardo also said. The concept is still not getting me. Like Adam Silver has this infatuation with tournaments. I don't really get it. Honestly, in my opinion, he puts in more effort with the in season tournament than he does NBA Finals, which is a travesty. But in season tournament is actually pretty solid. I don't really have any big problems with that, but I feel like the NBA they kind of trying too hard. I mean, I think this great revolution, has kind of been started with the players and the inner circle, like these younger cats, trying to play harder. And so I would kind of give them more credit, in my opinion, to Ab Silver. Now I want to get to everything else and All Star Weekend, 3-point contest, dunk contest. I want to get in everything else. I think the product is kind of a weird moment because there have been so many opportunities and blunders that the NBA has had. Let's just go back over it. So I wasn't really watching All Star Weekend, like 3-point contest, dunk contest, but I was hearing some stuff. So apparently, and I want to get y'all guys' opinion, especially Jay's opinion. I know he rocks with Ludacris. I was hearing Ludacris mic wasn't working. Is that true? That's what I heard.
Yeah. When he was performing this song, you couldn't even hear him rapping. You couldn't even hear him rapping. The mic wasn't on.
Yeah, man. Okay, so that's bad. Okay, the dunk contest. Let's get to the dunk contest. First of all, I want to mention the NBA did a really good job of making it seem like those crowds were full. If you actually saw the capacity is around like 10-15%. So
Damn.
all that stuff you saw, like yeah, all that stuff you saw was just lights. They were just having lights in there. Okay, let's get to the dunk contest.
What? Wait, quick question. Are we aware of what the capacity for the All Star Game festivities today were? Because I couldn't really tell. I was more so watching the game because
Today I couldn't tell. I couldn't tell. I saw people. They got footage from like yesterday. They got the footage from the other day. Like and you actually see the crowd and it's like seats on fit. Even though All Star game tickets, like All Star weekend tickets, they're pricey. Like they're like $700. So I mean I wouldn't pay $700 to see people who kind of half-ass play, but some people got it. Um, so that's that. Okay, dunk contest. I mean, I feel like what? I've kind of after a day of thinking about it, I kind of like the dunk contest. I kind of like
excuse me.
this year's dunk contest.
What do you mean?
Let me get to my point. I feel like the dunk contest succeeded in being a troll. That was kind of the big thing where everything else was pretty solid and the dunk contest was so bad. I actually got entertainment from it. And I feel like that may be crazy to say. Looking from the years, Zach Levine and Aaron Gordon, those crazy years in like 2016, 2020. Going back and looking at those years and seeing these young cats, man. I mean, man, it makes me a little nostalgic, and I'm not even that old. I'm 20 years old, but man, like just looking, because like those guys, what made their dunks so crazy was not only the creativity. The creativity was amazing. Zach Levine, he's doing. We've never seen people like dunk from the free throw line and do windmills in between the like we never seen that happen before. We seen people dunk from the free throw line, but we didn't see the hang time that Zach Levine was having. And then Aaron Gordon was just having special dunks with the mascots and doing creative ideas. I still think the best dunk ever in the dunk contest is the one where he literally went under the legs. So we've seen crazy dunks, and I feel like another component was that they were doing it on first try. A lot of these guys in this dunk contest, they were missing their first dunks. And when you miss the first dunk, the crowd kind of loses a little, because we already know what you're doing. Unless you're going to edit the dunk, which, we see that happen a lot of times. These guys edit the dunk and the dunk isn't as good. So, Jackson Hayes, I mean, he should honestly be eliminated from ever submitting his name into the hat of going to the dunk contest because that performance was almost as bad as Jericho Sam's a couple years back. If y'all remember, he dunked the ball and it was like I think it was like a basic two-hand dunk, and then he like opened up an envelope and the envelope was like the 50, and he he split it apart. Jackson Hayes may have had a worse performance than him, and that was probably the worst dunk I've ever seen from an NBA player. So, and then I mean, don't get me started with the Miami Heat dude, like the he shot John, like the dude's dancing. I'm like, dude, we get it, dude. Like, if he did it after the first dunk, I would have been like, all right, like that's cool. But he's doing it after every dunk, and it's like, all right, bro, we get it. And then, I feel like what makes the All Star or what makes the dunk contest is, the players on the court side. Giannis had me cracking up, man. And I feel like Giannis is slowly becoming one of the funniest players in the league, probably the funniest player in the league. Giannis had me cracking up, man. Those reactions, I'm finna be using those as memes. But overall, I thought the dunk contest was hilarious. Going to the 3-point contest, I thought 3-point contest was interesting. The whole Dame. I don't get how that happened. Damian Lillard's in the 3-point contest. Okay, he's injured, even though he won. And
Oh, can I
he
say
had a
this
little
really
duel with
fast?
Devin Booker, which is cool.
Shout out to Damian Lillard for winning that 3-point contest. I'm happy for Damian Lillard because he's not going to win any championships, so he can just continue to stack up
There
on
you
those
go.
3-point contest wins because he is the goat at
We're
that
talking about
shit, man.
3-point contest. We're not talking about
He's
his
the goat at
career.
that shit, man, because he ain't winning no rings, none.
Anyways, I thought it was interesting. Even though maybe I'm the only one that thinks Devin Booker. I don't know why he was in the 3-point contest. Like he's literally shooting like 30% from three. I mean, I get he's like a great 3-point shooter in general, but that really made no sense why he was in it. But anyways, they had a good show. So overall, I think it could use some work. I thought this was probably the most entertaining time as an NBA fan, especially if you're on Twitter, to kind of search what's going on because I mean might have to make a separate video on the interviews and people asking LeBron James about Israel and Kevin Durant his whole debacle on social media. Might have to do some extra videos on those if y'all want to hear those, comment down below. But that stuff was entertaining, and then especially when the camera panned to Kevin Durant and everybody's like he knows he's guilty, even though in my opinion it really isn't that deep. Like people were saying Kevin Durant was like a loser, and like dude's always on social media. And I'm like, dude, he's always been on social media. Like everybody's known this. What did this really? Everybody knows he's like it. We don't know concrete if that's him. Like so, a lot of people are just putting the allegations that is him. And I ain't gonna lie, it sounds like something he would say. But first of all, would anybody be surprised that Kevin Durant's a bad teammate? I don't think anybody would be surprised because nobody would be surprised. So people coming out and basically saying this stuff about Kevin Durant, it's kind of asinine to me. And then the LeBron James discourse is probably even worse. I mean, what do people want LeBron James to say? He's like the face of the league. You want him to? I mean, I have no clue what they wanted LeBron to say. I thought LeBron gave a professional answer. I mean, of course he has ties to Israel. We know this. Everybody knows this, and I don't know why everybody's surprised. So, but that's a whole nother topic in itself. So, but overall, I feel like the festivities were cool. Adam Silver probably needs to chill out on tanking shit. The tanking shit. I mean, I don't know what's his problem, dude. It's like every league has tanking, bro. Like, I mean, and then I don't understand how Adam Silver expects teams like the Washington Wizards to get good. I mean, they're not a high free market for the free agency, and they never they never have the first overall pick. So it's like, how does he expect this team to get good? I don't really get it. But if the NBA goes into this route where they're going to employ where they're going to take out the draft and go to free agency, I want to see what that looks like because like the concept isn't really ringing in my head. But it does seem to me like another pay to win aspect of it. And you see another team like the Spurs or the Mavericks get good. That whole thing of teams like being the 10th seed, getting number one overall pick needs to be dealt with. Needs to be dealt with. Like you should not be like in the play-in tournament getting a first round, like getting a first overall pick. But that's just my opinion. Maybe y'all have something else y'all want to disagree with about that. I feel like it's like no, like the whole lottery pick system in the NBA has always been weird. If y'all ever remember the whole 1985 lottery pick, what was it, like who had the first overall pick? The Knicks. They drafted
Yeah, the
Patrick
Knicks got
Ewing,
the
and it was
first overall pick.
yeah. I just want to get this off because this all happened at All like this all is kind of connected to All Star Weekend. But congratulations, Adam Silver. I'm gonna start calling you Adam Bronze until you show me that your league can get better. But congratulations, man. This was a pretty eventful All Star Weekend. I had my laughs, and I don't say that willingly. Last year, and I think it was last year, we, you know, we kind of tore him a new one. But this year, I'm giving you your props, man. More so to the players. I don't know if it was him, but the players played, with a lot more intensity, and that's all we like. Like we don't want these guys to play like 100%, but 60% that effort would do. So congrats, and I like seeing my boy Kawhi Leonard cook up some buckets, man. That was kind of nice to see.
I do want to say this. When you brought up the Adam Bronze nickname, when you guys threw that in the group, I was like, who are they talking to? I was like, oh, Adam Silver, Adam Bronze. That's very clever. I like that. I'm starting using that.
If the league go crazy under his tenure, we're gonna start calling him Adam Gold. But he's Adam Bronze now. He's Adam Bronze till they get back to mediocrity.
Facts, man. Adam Silver. Adam Bronze. He gotta earn that nickname. But yeah, man, this was a much better way to end off All Star Weekend because the start of it. Buffy already alluded to it. That dunk contest was, dude. I don't even know what I was watching, man. The brother from Miami. He should have been on Dancing with the Stars. Every time I look up, this man's doing a Dougie. He's just doing everything. He's dancing all types of ways. Jackson Hayes, brother, Adam Bronze, never ask him to do that ever again. I don't even care if the top dunkers decline your offer. Never ask him to do it because for the fact that a regular right-handed dunk was your first dunk, like, come on, man. And the fact that Dwight Howard gave it a 47 was even worse. Jace Richardson, dude, he only had like 4 dunks in this season and he got invited. And if y'all have seen that clip, the brother literally almost got concussed off of a dunk. And like it didn't even like he was getting up in the air for real. Like, brother, your pops would be disappointed. Jason Richardson would just be disappointed in that. But yeah, man, the 3-point contest, like Buffy said, Damian Lillard, no idea how the world he's able to be like qualified for that. I would have thought that you had to have played some games to be able to, do that or whatever. But hey, man, to each his own. But apparently, Steph Curry, he's already said that him, Clay, and Dame, and possibly KD are gonna do the 3-point contest next year. So that might be pretty nice. But the dunk contest, man, if these top dunkers that we normally talk about and watching the NBA, if they're not willing to do it, man, then just scrap it. If you are an avid basketball watcher and you were paying attention this weekend as well, some of the WNBA players, they have the Unrivaled League and they did their little one-on-one, and a lot of people were saying that the NBA should, remove and be out with the dunk contest and kind of changes to that. I know Jamal Crawford has been advocating for that a lot. I would love to see it because some of these players, if they get embarrassed one-on-one, that might be hilarious. But I don't really know if Adam Silver wants to do that. They also got rid of the skills challenge since, Wemby and Chris Paul cheated. They were cheated in the skills challenge last year. But yeah, man, the All-Star game, it was much better. I would have liked for, the world team to get to play against the younger guys, especially since the old heads were kind of, the shots weren't falling anymore. But, Jamal Murray, he went out there and just was putting up tour dates. The brother, I don't even know. This man was talking about playing hard and then he went out there and did that. Maybe it's just what happens when you on the same team with Jokic. Y'all kind of just don't really care about the All-Star game, man. But yeah, the world team, Anthony Edwards even said it. He said Wemby kind of started them and got them going. We could see how much passion Wemby had for it because when they lost that first game, like he was visibly frustrated because Scotty Barnes gained it on him. But yeah, man, it was a good product. It was some great games. Kawhi, he had a heat check. The brother was killing. He was cooking Pascal Siakam. He went down and shot like, I don't know, he had like 13 straight at one point. But yeah, I kind of thought in that last game that KD probably was going to go off. But yeah, it was over with, which is kind of expected for the old heads. They played like 3 games in a row. So I was expecting at some point they wasn't going to really make none. But overall, yeah, man, it was good. It was a good way to end it. Hopefully, Adam Bronze can, continue off of that. I don't really know how long the Team USA versus the world thing is really going to rock out because, as you can see, they had to like move guys around like Norman Powell, who, even though he's born in the U.S., they had to, move him to the world just because he's Jamaican. And same thing with Karl Anthony Towns, even though he's from New Jersey, they moved him over to be Dominican. Like, I think it's just, keep on with this type of energy, but just go back to East versus West, because if y'all do this again next year, man, them USA boys might get destroyed by the world team with Giannis and Wemby on the same team. So, but yeah, man, the future for the All Star, it might look he's looking pretty bright. Ant and Cade, Wemby, Jalen Duran, all those guys actually, coming out there to hoop. So that's definitely good. It's a good way to kind of start the second half of the NBA season, though, because like Bardo was saying, a lot of people might not watch the NBA during, I guess, the fall, you could say, because football is going on, and as we know, football has definitely been much better than the NBA for years. But yeah, man, when you kind of started off like this, then hopefully we can see much better results, because Adam Silver, your league been kind of getting cooked for some years, so hopefully you can capitalize off this, man. But it was great. It was a great way to end off All Star Weekend, though. I'll give you your props, Mr. Bronze. I'll give you your props.
Stay